Good evening, everyone, or good morning or good afternoon. I'm Mary Hawk. I'm president of Pagan World TV. And at Pagan World TV, we do strive to bring you diversity in programming. And so I am very grateful to be able to bring you this special presentation for World AIDS Day. And so I would like to introduce to you Reverend Bryan Ellicott. And Bryan, thank you so much for joining us this evening to talk to us about World AIDS Day. Uh, Bryan?
Thanks, Mary.
Oh,
So, hi, everyone. My name is Reverend Bryan John Ellicott, and I am the co head of the Order of the Rainbow Tent, which in the Corellian tradition is our LGBTQIA affinity group for all of our fellow clergy members and fellow pagans who fall under the alphabet soup mafia. So, for those who don't know, today is December 1st, or was December 1st, depending where you live in the world, which is World AIDS Day. And in honor of World AIDS Day, I wanted to talk about the significance of the day that has been dedicated to raising awareness about the ongoing battle against HIV and AIDS around the world. World AIDS Day is more than just a day on our calendars. It is a global solidarity movement aimed at dispelling the stigma and misinformation that surrounds the disease. In the spirit of this year's theme, led by communities, I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize those extraordinary efforts of communities worldwide fighting on the forefront against this epidemic. These are individuals, advocacy groups, and organizations that have tirelessly committed themselves to the support and education and care of those affected and living with HIV and AIDS. To truly understand the impact of this illness, I want to really briefly visit the history of the HIV pandemic. The earliest known case of HIV in humans dates back to 1959 in the Democratic Republic of Congo. However, it wasn't until the early 1980s when there was a unusual diseases starting to appear in the United States that HIV and AIDS came to our attention worldwide. To truly understand the impact of this illness, I want to revisit the history of it being beginning to be known as gay cancer. Largely associated with the LGBT community, this was a time of fear and ignorance with a lack of medical understanding about the disease. It was the LGBT community that bore the brunt of this epidemic, with thousands losing their lives to the disease that was at the time little was understood about it and it was highly stigmatized. However, amongst this fear and uncertainty, the LGBT community also rose to be a beacon of resilience. They mobilized, educated, and led the way towards understanding and fighting this new enemy. They were the first community led response to the epidemic, setting a precedent for the rest of the world. These communities were led by love, compassion, and a shared sense of responsibility. Those became the cornerstones of the response to HIV and AIDS. They continue and still advocate for funding in research, treatment, and fought against discrimination and provided care to those affected. Even when faced with societal prejudice and fear, these communities stood strong, turning adversity into action. Today, we see the echoes of these efforts in many community led initiatives around the world, whether it's in the support groups that provide a safe space for those living with HIV, or in the grassroots organizations working to ensure access to preventive measures, treatment, and care. These communities have been the catalyst for change. As we gather here today to commemorate World AIDS Day, let's honor those communities. Let us remember their courage, resilience, and in the face of adversible crisis. Let's acknowledge that invaluable contributions toward change and the in changing course on this epidemic. Let us continue to push for a cure, for continued research, for continued access to resources, medication, and better opportunities for those living with HIV. I want to take a minute to allow anyone watching that if you have a friend, a loved one, someone you cared about that has ever passed away and lost their lives to HIV or AIDS, please feel free to put their name in the chat so that we can see their name and honor and remember them at any point during this conversation. And with that, I want to say we must also remember that our fight is not over. There are still millions of people worldwide living with HIV, many of whom have faced discrimination and lack of access to essential care and support. Let's continue to stand together, inspired by those who have led the way, those communities who refuse to be silenced. Let us continue to spread awareness, to foster understanding, and to fight against the stigma and discrimination and that still surrounds HIV and AIDS. Together as a global community, we can work towards a world where HIV and AIDS are a thing of the past. A world where everyone, regardless of their status, can live a life full of dignity, respect, and love. I want to take this opportunity to also thank Pagan World TV for giving me the platform to have this conversation. I think it's important. I think that we should also remind people that HIV is preventable. There are ways to keep yourself safe. There are ways to keep yourself protected that will put this disease at bay. And I also want to say that there are lots of people that are alive who have witnessed so much trauma, so much hurt, so much pain, because an entire generation of our world was taken from us far too soon. Today in New York City, they read the names of thousands of New York City residents who lost their lives to HIV, and it was really, really inspiring. I want to make sure that people know that you can always, always come to me in the Order of the Rainbow tent for support and resources, whether you live in the United States or somewhere else in the globe. We can help you find resources. We can help you find access to the care that you deserve. And with that, I want to end our very short production on this World AIDS Day to commemorate the millions of lives lost and the millions of lives that continue to strive and thrive who are living with HIV. And to those people, I want to say, don't stop. Keep going. You are resilient. You are strong. You are loved. You are honored and respected. And our door is always open to you as well. So please, by all means, come talk to us. Thank you so much.